Hey folks, today we're covering Tinto Flavor 19, and this week Johan's going to be talking to us about the great kingdom of Sweden. Are they going to be overpowered in EU5? We are going to find out some of that information today. As always, they're going to start here by showing us the initial selection screen. You've got the Kingdom of Sweden, the flag there with the 3 crowns, the ruler, King Magnus IV. He's not very good, is he? 33-0-33. I'm surprised he's so bad, it being Sweden in a Paradox game. You can see the primary culture is Swedish, primary religion is Catholicism, and then you can see the breakdown there of the different cultures and the different religions. There is still some Norse paganism in there. Maybe we're going to get some Norse Viking runs in EU5. Next is going to show off the initial map for Sweden. You can see the bottom there, they do have one vassal in the south of the country, but they also have some land over in what is now Finland. And you can also see the Teutonic Order and Novgorod, previous realms they've talked about in the Tinto Flavor series. Sweden is different to many realms we've seen so far. It actually starts with a relatively powerful commoners estate. They are both represented by the Riksdag and have a privilege to freely move within Sweden. And you can see here the breakdown of the estates with their flavorful names. So you've got the Kronan for the crown. I'm not going to butcher the rest of them, but it goes nobles, clergy, burghers, and then the commoners, all with their regional specific names in this case. As he mentioned, the peasants do have additional powers in Sweden, and you can see that here with this estate privilege that they have. Food production plus 10%, levy combat efficiency plus 5%, and that is because they are land-owning peasants in Sweden. So you get additional food, which is great, and you also get your levy combat being that little bit better as well, so kind of a double effect there. Sweden also has access to a unique cabinet action that can be done in any province in Norrland or Finland that has a population of less than 10,000 people. This is to simulate the insane population growth that Finland had during the 14th and 15th century, which was the highest in the world at that time, which is pretty crazy. Learned something new today. You can see that on the screen though, as I've been talking. Support new farms in north or east. Migration attraction plus 0.25, monthly development 0.1, population growth 2%. So yeah, you can put one of your cabinet people in this area. You're going to get migration attraction, so people are going to move there, the development's going to get better, and the population growth itself is going to get better as well. So you can really spread out your realm into these new lands. Maybe you could even, colonize some of these areas in the north of Scandinavia. Next is going to show us a location modifier. While Sweden does not start with any works of art, it has a unique bonus in Fallon, which is the Great Copper Mountain that gives a lot of extra copper per labourer working there. And you can see that in the screenshot. So plus 250% more copper output. That is crazy. You can be running the copper industry in the north of Europe at least, making a lot of money out of this, I would have thought so. Also makes things cheaper for you potentially as well, which is a great bonus. Next is going to show us some of the military side of Sweden. In the Age of Absolutism, so quite near the end of the game, they get 2 specific units. The first one is here, a cavalry type with the construction and maintenance costs, and then their combat unit statistics on the right-hand side. These are not very good in mountains, wetland, or jungle, so you don't want to be fighting with them in those areas. The next is infantry, that is the Karolans. And this has similar construction and maintenance costs, and again, the unit statistics. These have 2% initiative, do 10% more damage, and take 20% less morale damage as well. So they can be very good as the backbone of your army. Next is going to show off some of the advances. The first one here is always attack, and this is infantry power 20%. So that's going to be very good. Maybe we're getting not Prussian Space Marines. Maybe we're going to get Swedish Space Marines in EU5. The next one is the Kung och Riksdag. This is a possible government reforms +1, so that's just going to allow you to kind of specialize your country that little bit more, depending on what you're trying to do during your campaign. The next one I'm not going to try pronounce. This is distance cost to capital -5%. That's going to be very good for keeping your proximity, your control better, getting more out of Sweden as you kind of expand your control over the realm that you already have. That is going to help with this. The next one is the Machina Nova. This is copper output plus 33%. Wait, does that stack with the other copper output? I'm guessing it does, so you're going to get a lot of copper playing as Sweden. And then also tools output plus 10%. Again, that's going to help you quite a lot. And that is available in the Age of Absolutism. So as you're getting to the end of the game, you're going to get even more copper, even more tools. Going to help you a great deal. Next is going to show off the saints. Sweden actually start with a historical saint, Eric the Holy. There are also others present in the game as well, but he's just going to show this one off here. And you can see this is a previous king of Sweden who is now a saint, and that does give you some bonuses as you play through the game. Next is going to start showing off some of the events that happen, and the first one here is Bridget of Sweden, and she is criticizing the king. A woman of nobility, Brigitte, claims that she has had visions from God. That always works out well, doesn't it? She's one of the most pious women in the country, with pilgrimages to several holy sites, so when she accuses the king of not being a good enough Christian, or even accusing him of homosexuality, many will listen to her. This is embarrassing. And again, as I mentioned last week, that blue box just above where it says that is like the historical reason for this event, what happened historically, and gives you some like context towards some of these events, which is always cool to see. And then in the next screenshot, this is when she dies. The canonization of Birgitta. Encourage pilgrims to the abbey. This will make her a saint. Holy site will appear in that location as well. And also the clergy side of your realm will get 10% estate satisfaction. Or you could do another option, but you can't see what that is. Celebrate her sainthood, I guess, without building this holy site and abbey and things like that. I would think that's what that's going to say. That is pretty cool, though. You get a saint. You also get a holy site in your area as well. That is pretty cool, this abbey building. It doesn't say what bonuses they give, but that's always pretty cool, getting a holy site in your realm. Next, Johan mentions there are over 60 unique events just for Sweden. Again, no surprise with where Paradox and Johan is from. The first one here is a silver mine of Sala. This is all about building some silver mines. And if you choose the top option, Sala will then produce silver instead of whatever it usually produces. Or you could just say, I have no need for silver. I don't know why you would say that. If you're minting, you have to have access to silver and gold, or is it just silver or gold? I can't remember off the top of my head. But, you know, you want silver, so I don't know why you would never do this, but maybe if you got silver from elsewhere, you might not need to do this, but you probably are going to do this every time that it is available. The next is the Walloons in Sweden. In 1614, the Walloon entrepreneur Louis de Geer set up shop in Sweden and undertook the development of the iron ore mining and foundries in northern Sweden. So that is all about what happened there historically, and you can encourage Walloon immigration. Then population will move from Liège up to these other areas of Sweden, and you'll get the benefits of that migration happening. There's a lot of countries that have similar events around this. Obviously, a lot of Germanic migration and things like that we've seen previously, but this one is from Liège, which is pretty cool. The next event is the founding of Gothenburg, I believe. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like the English pronounce it as Gothenburg, but if I'm wrong there, do correct me. I do apologize if I'm wrong there. It will be the city for the angels is the option you can choose, and this will change the location to become a town. It changes its name to match that. It gains 0.5 development, prosperity increases by 20, and 50 low Franconian burghers will migrate each month from northern Holland to this area for the next 24 months. So similar to the event above, you're going to get migration from another country into this area of your realm, and in this case you get a new town and a bunch of benefits around that, which is really good. Towns are pretty expensive, so this is a nice bonus to get. The next one is Olaf Rudbeck publishes Atlantica. He was a botanist, architect, historian, astronomer, and musician. He was a busy guy. Olaf was an academic, jack of all trades, but above all, he was a romantic and a patriot. His life work was the Atlantica, a massive history in which he claimed that Sweden was in fact the mythical Atlantis. Okay, well, he went out on a high, didn't he, in many ways by the sound of it. So brilliant is the answer you can choose here. We have 15 legitimacy, Swedish culture gains 15 cultural influence, and this magnum opus is created in Stockholm, so you'll have that going forwards. And with that, that is the end of the Dev Diary on Sweden. I kind of thought this would be longer with it being Sweden, but we got a general overview as always. I'm sure before we get released the game, we'll get some more information about this area of the world as well. Johan's saying tomorrow, St. Dave UK is going to be talking to us about how unit graphics work. As I've been saying since that was announced, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that's going to be very interesting tomorrow. Really talking about how the units look as you progress through the eras, things like that. It's going to be very cool to read through tomorrow. And we do know on Friday we're getting information about Muscovy and Russia as a whole, so that's going to be really cool to see. But with that, that is the end of the video for today. So hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. As I said, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with all the EU5 news. And I also cover Crusader Kings 3 as well. But we'll leave it there, and I'll see you all next time.